One of the big games at the show was Evolve.
Right.
Got to see a new monster.
Yes.
Here to give us another look at the new monster are Chris and Phil from developer Turtle Rock. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Congratulations, first of all.
Appreciate it.
I believe Evolve is trending worldwide on Twitter right now.
That's exciting.
See if maybe we can keep that going.
All right.
You showed off the Kraken.
Yeah, finally. We get to show a new monster. Right? That's something everybody's been asking for the whole time, so we're excited to see it.
It looks awesome.
Thanks.
Damon, I've played it.
Yeah?
And I can tell you, it's awesome. I want to shake your hands. You guys have done great
Thanks.
stuff. Of course, that video is up on IGN actually right now. Don't go yet because we're doing a demo here. But sitting, like, it's one of those, I got to play it at PAX, and I was like, oh, this is fun, it seems cool, but I got my head kicked in because I wasn't, brand new to the game. Getting to sit down and do, I think we did 4 or 5 matches. Like, by the end of that, all I wanted was more. It was so good. So you guys have nailed it.
I like how you...
Yeah, well, I mean, like drugs. Don't do drugs.
Crack in.
Kills.
Yeah.
You didn't.
We gotta work on it. We gotta work on it.
Not follow me. So you're going to show us a demo of the game. Is there anything we need to know before we dive into this?
We're going to watch something from a game from Hyde's perspective. He's one of the Assault characters, and I believe Kraken's in here, so we get to see it in action. So
Cool. Can we just jump right into that? Do we have that ready to go?
Yeah, they're kicking it up right now.
Okay.
So for people who are just, not evolved enough to know about Evolve, how about that? Was that better? That was reaching? All right, sorry about that.
I think mine is better.
It's 5 players, but it's 4-on-1. Right. So what are the classes? We're playing as Hyde. He's Assault. That sounds pretty self-explanatory. Go out and do damage. What are the other classes? How does it all work?
Trapper is right in front of him. That's Maggie running right there. She's responsible for trapping the monster so the team can actually do damage to it.
Okay.
We have a medic, and that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, that's an easy one too.
And we have support, whose job is really to keep the team alive.
Okay.
And in this example, I'm not sure who it's probably Bucket. And Bucket's got a UAV, so he can find people. He's got sentry guns, so he can throw down defenses.
And there's the Kraken.
There's the first glimpse of the Kraken. So the big thing is Kraken can fly. It's something that everybody's been asking about. Is when we showed Goliath, and then everybody starts asking what would be cool for the next monster. I hope they have one that flies.
Right. So, and that was actually something that was interesting. When you guys told us about that, when we sat down to play it, I thought, well, all right, well, that breaks the game. I can just get way high and not have to worry about it. But Kraken, when you're in the monster's perspective, and again, you see this in the IGN video, when I'm just kicking everyone's ass, you have, like, bursts, like, on the side, right? So you can only fly, like, into, like, a 3rd tier or whatever, and then you start coming down and have to do different things. Yeah. So you can't, like, fly away and just cherry-pick the entire time, even though that's a good strategy.
Right, and the hunters all have ranged weapons, right? Yeah. So it's something that we can do. The Kraken's still got some really nasty melee. You see it a little bit there.
Yeah.
So he can get up close and personal and fight as well, but he really does the most damage he does at sort of a medium range.
Gotcha. And so, of course, we're in the enclosed cage here. This is one of the trappers' deals. They can drop this and trap everybody in there, right?
Right.
The mobile arena.
Yeah, thank you. That's a better. I called my mobile deal. That wasn't a good title. Mobile arena. That's better. I like that. That's why you get paid the big bucks. You get to make these games.
So the monster starts off small. He's what we call stage 1 right now. He's actually kind of at a disadvantage early on. And so he really wants to just run and he wants to feed and kill wildlife, eat wildlife, grow bigger and stronger, and bring the fight back to the hunters. But they don't want him to get that big, right?
Sure.
They want to keep him from getting that big. So the trapper's able to throw down that mobile arena, trap him in there, and then he can't go anywhere for 60 seconds, and allows the team to fight. And so it winds up sort of being mini boss battles. Every time you throw down one of these arenas, it forces the fight.
For me, the give and take, the tug of war of it, right? Because like you start as the monster, and you start a few seconds ahead of before the other guys get there. So they're coming in, and you know that, and you have to run and eat and feed and hopefully evolve before they ever find you. But there's always that fear of like they are right on me. Like you can, of course the people on the ground can, go through tracking you. You see a little bit every so often the dog character there sniffing out, following down, looking at tracks. Yeah.
So the monster's gone to stage 2 now, and this is the part when I'm playing the monster where I can breathe a little sigh of relief. Like you go from really being scared to feeling like, okay, now if I'm forced to fight, now I can really brawl with these guys.
Yes,
you're really kind of evenly matched with the hunter team when you're stage 2.
Now this map is different than what I had played at PAX. What is this map?
Right, this is a desert environment. So we've got the cool thing about changing environments. We've got a whole new set of wildlife, AI-controlled wildlife. And that wildlife, of course, can be dangerous to the hunter team. They can also be dangerous to the monster. But both teams can use them to their advantage if they're paying attention and if they're careful.
I think that was my favorite part. Once when I was still stage 1, I think on my second or third game, I ran off and I was feeding, and then I just heard Marty and Naomi start screaming because they got eaten by plants. Right. And then it was them trying to figure out how to kill the plants, and meanwhile I was able just to come over, maneuver, destroy them both.
Nice.
Use the environment.
It's very classic, yeah. And that kind of provides, like, we will have maybe 20% wins. Stage 1 monster wins, where a monster will take advantage of something like that. You see 1 or 2 guys go down through wildlife, and you might take that opportunity to go in there.
Well, it was that thing where I thought it was so cool that it got them, and then later on I'm trying to feed, and all these other animals went aggro and started hitting me. I'm like, get out of here! I don't want to hurt you, and then they're hurting me, and I'm like, I gotta fly away. I just want to do them out. Because that's something interesting that I didn't understand until I got deeper in with the game. We see the Krakens Health Bar up there. On top of it's the shield, like they're like armor.
It's armor,
yeah. And so you can replenish that by eating, but once it's gone and you start getting hurt, that's all there is. So even if you got away and fed again, your health bar doesn't fill up, just your armor.
Right, yeah. And so that armor is that buffer where you can take some damage. So if you do get caught in the mobile arena, you can fight for a little while, you can take some damage.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get into the real help, you feel pretty good if you can get out of that without taking real damage. But the damage is permanent on the monster, so you don't. Once you lose that armor, it's incentive to get out of there.
Exactly. So, in the office, I guess, and then from playtests, what's the range you see from how long matches last?
Anywhere from, I had a 2-minute match about 2 weeks ago to.
Were those people just clowns? People you brought off the street?
It was a new guy at the studio. And I had a 33-minute round the other day, so that's a pretty wide range, just depending on how the monster plays.
And that's like an epic situation.
It
right?
is,
because the time limit ends. There's a 20-minute time limit, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in combat,
it goes into sudden death and the timer pauses.
Right. So that was like what?
Average game is 12 to 13 minutes.
Interesting. As you guys are developing the game, testing the game, how often do people shout, "Release the Kraken," when playing with this monster?
There are a lot of Kraken jokes going around right now. Yeah.
Where are we in the match now?
Well, I think he's still stage 2. It looks like they don't know where he is right now. They're following Daisy. Daisy is like a bloodhound, so she's able to smell the monster. So that's every character is different, right? So we've shown 4 characters initially. These are a different set of 4 hunters. So this trapper, her name's Maggie, and she's got basically a bloodhound, Daisy, who's able to sniff out the monster.
One of my favorite things to do when I got to play the trapper role later on in the day was you get those tethers that you basically put in the ground, right, and then they latch onto the character. So even if you were trying to fly away, to get away from combat, if you've tethered them, the Kraken has to stop, turn around, swipe them away, and then you get to do so much more damage.
Yeah, trappers control the monster in combat and try to control his movement, and that does 2 things. It allows the team to do damage, but it also means that the monster's not getting to the team to do melee damage to your hunter. So you protect your team from damage, and you're able to deliver damage to the monster. So.
Now, we talked about, the fact that you guys were trending worldwide. Again, congratulations. Don't want to go to your head. But it is one of those things that everybody in the games industry I know, and even at PAX, just consumers who sit down and play Evolve, they get Evolve. Immediately, they're like, oh, this is awesome. I want to play more of this. Were you concerned? We always talk about it in the industry, right? Everybody harps on, oh, another sequel. Oh, another reimagining. You guys are like, we're going to make a new intellectual property, that's what IP stands for, and come out and do it. I mean, were you surprised that it's catching on the way it is? Are you did you know that? I mean, we're the guys who made Left 4 Dead.
Right.
We'll be fun.
I think we knew we had something fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we do rapid prototype, right? We get it up and playing as quickly as possible.
Yeah, we've been playing this for 3.5 years now, so every night. So
yeah, that guy had no chance in that 2-minute match.
But it's always
true.
Yeah, it's always a pleasant surprise. I mean, this has been awesome to see how people have sort of embraced it.
Yeah, people are stoked.
Yeah, and I think now with the second set of hunters and the second monster, people are starting to see the big picture where we're talking about combinations of characters, like what happens when Val's the medic instead of Lazarus, and what happens, so that mix and match of different play styles. So Kraken here is really, like we said, kind of medium range, fights a lot in the air. It doesn't have as much health and armor as Goliath does. Goliath is the brawler, the in-your-face, it'll punch you in the face kind of a thing. So these 2 monsters really are quite different from each other.
Sure.
And that's one of the reasons we lined up Kraken to be the second monster in the tier, was because it was so different from
Yeah,
Goliath.
that's the thing. I mean, I played Goliath at PAX and then got to play Kraken recently for the feature, and Kraken was way more my speed. I like being in the air, and then when you're in the air, you still have the melee attack, but it just fires off like little bolts.
Yeah.
So I'm up there and I'm picking until I could break up their team dynamic, and then
you
swoop in,
swoop in,
start
exactly.
melee, start dropping
Yeah.
that right there. That I don't know what it's called, but the black hole like force field thing. And do all these different things.
You mentioned the monster tier. Are you progressing to these different monsters? You have to unlock them? Or?
Yeah, you unlock them. So you'll start off. What we showed initially, the Goliath is the first monster. We wanted the first characters, the first medic, to be very approachable. So Val has a med gun, right? Same for Goliath. We wanted Goliath to be very standard, very typical, like straightforward monster, what you would expect.
Right.
And then, Grounder's he's a little bit harder to play. We didn't want him to be your first monster ever, because everybody's instinct is just to charge straight in and melee attack. Well, you do that with Goliath, but once you learn with Goliath to use your abilities, then Grounder becomes available to players. And like you said, there's guys in the office that still prefer Goliath, but there's a lot of guys who've come up to me in the last couple of weeks and said, you know what, Kraken is much more my style of play, and that's what we're looking for with these different characters, these different hunters, different monsters. It's about like what you're more comfortable with, what fits your style of play, and also we'll change up characters depending on who we're fighting against, or what some characters match up better with some monsters than others. So it's all strategy at the end of the day.
Okay. I know you're showing this demo. You just debuted the Kraken. Of course, your game's coming out this year.
Right.
It's getting down to the wire here.
It is.
I have to ask, like, how many monsters are in the game? How many maps?
We got 3 monsters, 12 hunters, and over a dozen maps.
Right.
I did not expect you to answer the
I
question.
know.
I like you guys.
We're not talking about that at this time, but that's amazing. We appreciate it.
about the Kraken.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
so we still have another monster to reveal yet. So that's exciting. But
I bet. Yeah. Are you, at any point, are you guys sick of it? Like, you play it every day, right? And you iterate on it every day.
Never. It's such a deep game, and there's so many combinations, and there's perks that you can take on your characters. There's perks you can get in the off the wildlife, in the environment, different maps, different modes, different ways to play the game. So like I said, we've been playing for 3.5 years, and the most that people rage in the studio is when we don't have a play test. If 6 o'clock rolls around and there's no play test, the angry thread starts. So
before we let you guys go, I think we have a Twitter question that might.
Remember, you can be part of the show. Tweet at IGN hashtag E320.
Niels asks, will Evolve set a new type of genre where players experience both sides of monsters and players? I don't know. Are you guys creating a new genre of game here?
It is interesting, right? The monster's third person, the hunters are first person. We don't even we call it cooperative, competitive, first person, third person. We don't even know what to call it, really. So
we just did what worked.
We just did what worked and what was fun and what we were excited about. So I mean,
yeah. I think it's a good idea to create your own genres, because then at the game of the year you win that category, because you're the only nominee. I totally think you guys should.
That would be cool.
Thank you so much for coming by.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Congratulations again. Game looks awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. I want everyone to go watch the video we did, because it's up on IGN right now. Not even because I'm in it and I'm awesome at the game, Damon. But I just want you to go watch it because the game's so much fun to play. We're so in.
Cool.
I'm in love with you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
It's a beautiful thing. So much.